Thank you for another segment of the Recovery Live Global. We are here today at Personalized Nursing Lighthouse, and we're here on behalf of DWIN, and we are here because we want to know what Personalized Nursing Lighthouse is doing in the community. I understand we have Mr. Joe, our CEO, we got Ms. Valerie, our clinical director, and then we also have Mr. Chris, who's functioning as a peer recovery coach right now. And I thank you, Joe, for inviting us here and allowing us to come here.
Welcome back.
It's a good piece right here. I feel kind of good. I feel like sitting back in my old office. But we're here today because we want to talk about Personalized Nursing Lighthouse is doing great things in the community, and we want to highlight some of those things. This is Recovery Live Global. We on quite a few platforms. We on Leak News Local Detroit. We on YouTube, Facebook, and also SD Flicks. So it's quite a few platforms that we are. It's a global presentation, so people are seeing this interview all over the world. And so we want to start off by saying we really appreciate what you're doing. And we just want to talk about Personalized Nursing Lighthouse and what are you doing? First of all, what platforms or modalities of therapy or do you cover with your agency? What layers and levels are you covering?
Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that. You know, Personalized Nursing Lighthouse has been in business for 33 plus years, and we have a full continuum of care from withdrawal management, gender specific. Withdrawal management, where people come in drunk or high. They need medical assistance to reduce the symptoms of withdrawal and get back on the recovery path. We have residential care, which is, as you know, 28 days or less usually, in a structured 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, supervised environment. And one of the unique things that Lighthouse has created over the years is the IOPD, and what's called Intensive Outpatient Program with Domicile. And that is what we started in 1990 right here in Plymouth. And that helps people who need the intensive level of care, group and individual therapy, but they didn't have a place to live. They didn't have transportation. So back in 1990, they were leaving residential facilities and they would say, hey, come back for IOP 3 nights a week. But they didn't have a chance to get to those treatment centers. They didn't have the transportation, or they didn't have a suitable environment for the recovery. So that's why we created the IOPD, which is a unique model, one of the few in the state, where people can come to group therapy 5 days a week, get 5 hours, or 4.5 hours to 6 hours actually, of group therapy, plus individual sessions with master's prepared clinicians. And then they live independently in the community in furnished apartments that we pay for.
Okay.
We pay for the paper towel, to the toilet paper, to the pots and pans, to the linens. And they can go back there, practice their recovery model, their recovery lessons that they learned during the day, and walk down to the AA or NA meeting, go see their significant other, or find employment in the community. Basically, integrate back into the community from residential facility. And that has been a wonderful combination of structure and freedom for the people that we serve.
I like that too.
Withdrawal management, residential, IOPD. And then when you're done with IOPD, the client comes through us, we have recovery housing, peer recovery coaches with Craig here. He's our lead peer recovery coach. And we have case managers who help people with the basics of life, like finding the dentist, finding food, clothing, because sometimes our clients come with literally, and Craig will vouch for this, no clothes, no food, except what's on their body. So we help them secure all of those extra wraparound services that they need to help start their recovery journey.
It sounds like your agency and your program is covering all of the basis of recovery. When I looked at the 8 dimensions of wellness, it kind of talked about that spiritual, physical. I heard you talk about the medical. You talked about the treatment. You talked about the spiritual. This is the lighthouse too, so I know it's come from a spiritual background. So covering all those things, then I heard you say domicile. A lot of agencies don't have that part.
Right.
And so the participant is asked to come to group, like you say, with the barriers of transportation and things like that. And then they got to go back into the environment that they living in and then come back to the treatment. And they was missing appointments, missing treatment sessions, missing groups. And I see that domicile piece is an excellent piece because they live in within the facility, and where they living at is non-toxic because it's clean. People not using and selling in the domicile atmosphere of the program. So I like that piece, man. It seemed like you covering a lot.
We do.
Missing a lot, and it seemed like you guys are doing great work in the community, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Miss Valerie, clinical.
Daria.
You're too young to be a clinical director, but I guess you come highly recommended. So I'm going to ask you from the clinical director's perspective, what's your role and what's your part and how you see it, what you bring to Lighthouse that you think is going to help the program and help where we're going now in 2024.
Well, and I'm new. Yes, I've only been here like 2 weeks. This is my second week. But I came to Lighthouse because I like the model. I like the services offered. I think that I can help really grow the program and help the staff and educate the staff. I've been in the field for 10 years. So I've been a therapist and a supervisor. And so this is like the next step up in helping a bigger organization. It's my passion to work with SUD clients, so that's why I picked a substance use program, and I've, like I said, been in a substance use program for the past 10 years prior to this, so it's definitely something that I've made my career as well, and I love being a part of people's recovery and helping them, and the fact that Lighthouse has the domicile housing, which is very rare, and to help and transport clients and then make sure they get appointments and like doctors and everything like that as well as therapy is pretty amazing. So I'm excited to be a part of the team. That's why I decided to join.
Amen.
Yeah.
Good.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Jesse, certified clinical supervisor by McBath, state of Michigan. So Valerie's going to be helping our therapists continue to grow their clinical skills. She's going to be working with them with supervision, help them grow so they can be more effective in what they do and reaching the clients and be helping the clients get on their recovery path.
Yep.
And
So
I
that's
like
the systems as well as the supervision is what she's going to bring.
and I like that CCS.
Yeah.
That's a new, not new really, but that's another certified clinical certification that you can have through Michigan Certified Board of Professionals, and that is what's needed now. Matter of fact, they're almost mandating that all of the providers have that person or that population, within the staffing and things like that. So we really appreciate you having a hand, not just for the participant, but for the staff.
Yeah.
Because the staff need development as well as the participants. And when you could develop the staff, you could have better and less recidivism with the and relapse with the participants too. So that's a key area, and to see you stepping to those big shoes, it's a good thing, man, for Personalized Nursing Lighthouse. We got Mr. Craig.
Yeah.
How you do, young man?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay, what you got to say? What you bring to the table as a peer? A lot of people don't know what coaches and peers is. I'm talking about the people in the community now. It used to be a thing called sponsorship through AA and NA, but we're talking about peer recovery coaches, peer recovery mentors. So what, as a peer, what part do you bring to the table with the participants that's coming within the program?
Well, first of all, I believe that, I'm an alumni of the program. Okay. So I went through the program. And, I feel like the lived experiences that I've had in active addiction where I can remain equal with the clients because I understand where they come from, what they're doing, and so that's what I bring to the table, and so I can really understand and see what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and they can understand and see where I'm at. And so by me growing and allowing them to help me grow, it's the magic that's in the middle of it. You know, that helps this place grow. Sometimes some of the clients might feel like you didn't go through what I went through. And then I come in and I can identify, and because it's help all around. Everybody can help you. You know, sometimes you don't have to be a recovering addict or alcoholic to help somebody. Sometimes people say, well, you have to be one in order for me to listen to. And so by me bringing my lived experiences to the table, that's beneficial for me and them. And I know that our program, when we talking about the two parts of our program, that helped me out a lot. You know, because when you go out there and you're in the wilderness in active addiction, and then you come to our program, and then you do your groups and your lectures and things, and then you go home to our domicile part, which is our housing, then that's one of the most important parts, because now you get an opportunity to live the program. And living the program is day by day, and you sit around and you do the normal things like get jobs and, you know, get acquainted with your family and all of that kind of good stuff, you know. And then there's some accountability, you know. Sometimes when you come back into the program the next day and you be excited about how you didn't relapse, and you share that in groups. And sometimes the facilitators will say, well, on the weekend, we have something called weekend planning, right? And we say, well, what did you do to avoid a relapse? And sometimes it's what you don't do to avoid a relapse. Like sometimes you can't go to a family member's house right away. Sometimes you can't make that phone call that you desperately want to make right away. And so giving this some time and some patience and getting some support is really important with people just like you to identify. And so I think that pointing those things out at an early part of the recovery is important, because people just gun-ho and they just want to go, instead of just taking their time, slowly getting back into the community, like we have a beautiful community. And so I think that that's helpful.
Yeah, I thank you, Joe, for opening up to bring in peers and coaches and things like that. You had a lot of the professionals and providers who would bring in professional clinical. And you got a lot of people that's coming into the program that don't feel that a professional clinical can help them, because they ask the question, have you ever smoked crack? So if you never, how you going to help me? And so now the program is growing until they're using all facets of the program. And thank you for bringing peers in. You say you came through this program?
I went through the program in 2008. Yeah.
And now you working in the program?
Working.
Now that's valuable right there to come
there.
through. How you came to the door, toe up from the floor up.
From the floor. That's right.
And now shining and representing recovery on that level. You can't beat that.
You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. So I think the program, number one, for allowing this type of a practice to be inside of the facility, to allow people to actually see the message and not just hear it.
Right.
When somebody could say, I've been there and I've done that, and look at me, that's a powerful, powerful message to a person that's really, really struggling.
It is, because I believe that when you, for me personally, I came to the point in my life now where if you can't see the blessing, you should be the blessing. And so when you sit around and you think that you're better than and all this kind of stuff, you know, that's not the way it goes, you know. So you have to remain equal with the clients in order for them to understand that you're not just talking at them, you're talking with them, and you can identify. And so I think that's really big.
Yeah, from the outside, I see personalized nursing Lighthouse as a forerunner. Like ahead of the game, ahead of a lot of the other, I'm not going to say providers on TV, but I'm going to say it, because I see it. You know, you got to call it when you see it. So I see Personalized Nursing Lighthouse as a forerunner in the game of recovery, in the game of sobriety, in the game of coaching and clinical and wraparound services. You got the housing, you got the treatment, you got the support groups, you got all of these dynamics working together. And a person coming from the grips of addiction need all of that.
All of it.
All of that. And then I see a spiritual component with with Personalized Nursing Lighthouse too, because it's founded and grounded on some spiritual principles. And we know today that spirituality is part of the 8 dimensions of wellness, so we can touch it. We got to be sensitive when we touch it. You know, like higher powers and let people choose their own spirituality, and then we support that part.
Right.
We support that part. So that's a good piece right there. Joe, what else you would have to lend? I mean, we're talking to Detroit, Michigan, Florida. I know I have individuals in Nigeria. Got a church in Africa, and people be tuning in, and they want to know how we doing it. You know, how's we doing it? How's we maintaining it? What do it look like? What do it look like in the next few years? And we're thinking about recovery. Is it anything you need that you can say to cause people to, you know? I know we got D-Win and supporters and things like that. But if you wanted to get a word out to the masses about recovery and what you can say, I mean, sometimes people be dialing the station or playing with their phone, and they didn't play with their phone and they see us. They didn't fool around and seen us sitting here. I mean, what could you say to that person that's playing with the phone and smoking while he playing with the phone? Or use it. I mean, what could we say? We real. We real about this recovery process. Right. And you could have it. They told me, call 1-800-241-4949, D-WIN, 1-800-241-4949. It's going to come up in the roll anyway, but I'm just saying that if you're out there right now and you seem like you need help with your recovery processes, just dial 1-800-241-4949. And when you call the number and they're going to ask you, well, what program do you think you want to go to? Say, I live in Canton and I want to go to Personalized Nursing Lighthouse. Come on.
That's great, Jesse. I appreciate it. You know, there's so many people in the community impacted by addiction. And it's not always the person that's using, it's the family members too. It's the mothers and significant others. So we want to help not just the person that's struggling with addiction, but the family as well. So we welcome them. If the family members who want assistance from us and how to help their loved one, there's certain community programs that we refer them to for strength and support. And for the people out there who are using, who say, I don't know if I could ever, it could not happen to me. It might happen to Craig or other people. I just want to say, I've been here for 34 years, and tens of, about 20,000 people have walked through our door, at least in admissions. And I've seen time and time again that people who didn't believe that it could happen, it happened to them. And what I mean by happening, it means living a life in recovery. And if you look around the community, and I get out once in a while, and there's people come up to me and they'll say, hey Joe, you don't remember me, but I was in your program 25 years ago. And my memory's not so good anymore. But they were saying, here's my husband. I met him. He's in recovery from your program so many years ago. And that is so touching to me, because so many people struggle with the weight of addiction, and there is hope. Thousands of people are living rich and successful lives. And I mean, Craig is just one. He's a very humble man, but he makes such an impact in our organization with the clients. And when you have professionals like Valerie with us, who's got all the credentials and experience, and who can interact and say, here's what's best for the client. And you also have Craig, who's there to help massage that message sometimes or help them say, yeah, this is what's best for you. Our combination of the professionals that we've assembled at Lighthouse is what really makes it work.
Well, we thank you guys, man, for what you're doing over here. This has been a segment from Recovery Live Global. We're going to take just a moment for a station break, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Attention women, are you struggling with addiction, trying to find out which treatment center is best for you? Consider calling Personalized Nursing Lighthouse right now. With 27 years of clinical excellence, we offer a continuum of care, providing everything needed during recovery. Best known for our intensive outpatient programs, which includes recovery housing in clean, healing environments while in treatment, with zero out-of-pocket costs for most women. Call today at 1-800-467-7654.
So the primary objective of the mobile units is to provide crisis intervention, stabilization, and de-escalation techniques to individuals of all ages experiencing a crisis in a community. Individuals may not be able to access certain services due to their insurance status, but with these units, we can help people regardless of their insurance status. And pretty much our goal is to provide individuals with immediate support and care right in their community, removing different barriers such as transportation. In that regard, we come to them. We can meet them anywhere they are in the community in Wayne County. So it can be in their home, it can be at their school, it could be at their local church, it can be at a park. Wherever they are in crisis, we are there to support. These mobile units are different because we are able to go where people are and give them services and support where they are most comfortable. So we're able to go to their homes, we can go to their schools, we can go to their local church, we can go to a community center. Wherever they are in crisis, we are able to go to them, removing that barrier of transportation.
Now they can call us, we can go right out and give that person the services that they really need. A lot of people do things because of it's their job, but I believe everyone on this team, on the mobile crisis team, this is their purpose, to reach out to other individuals that are going through crisis. Just because you're going through a crisis at that moment, don't mean that you'll stay there the rest of your life.
Hi, I am Katrina Barnes, and you're watching Recovery Live Global.
We are back with Recovery Live Global. I'm your host, Jesse Washington. I'm here at Personalized Nursing Lighthouse. And man, I got the team from the CEO to the peer recovery coach here in the room with me talking about recovery. You know, there's some conversation going around about the Narcan kits and also the, what is that, MAT, medical assistant treatment. Let's talk about that for a minute.
I know that here at Personalized Nursing Lighthouse that they make sure that clients who struggle with opiate use get a Narcan kit when they do discharge from the program, which is really important. And hopefully they stay sober, but if they have access to it, then they can also provide it to someone they know if they need to be in that type of situation where they need to help somebody who's overdosing. I know that also during the discharge process, they offer naltrexone to clients with alcohol dependent use disorder. That's part of the discharge. I know that Joe knows way more than me because, I've only been here a minute. And then I know Craig has direct experience using the Narcan kits to save lives.
Yeah, to turn around an overdose. They said you can't turn around a death, but you can turn around an overdose.
Right.
And it's through the Narcan kits that you can catch a person within a certain amount of minutes of an overdose. And it's user friendly because you just spraying it in their nose, and you could actually save a life, turn around an overdose. And those kits are being used now. We have them. I've seen they got them in the facility. you say they're giving them to the participants when they leave out.
And every one of our housing units.
Yep.
Okay, every one of the houses. I had somebody from DWIM was doing Narcan training in the beauty salons and barbershops and things like that, trying to educate people on the Narcan kits because, man, that can actually it could save a life.
He did.
It's not about can. It has.
Okay.
Saved life. I know for a fact that I've been in situations where I had to use the Narcan kit. I was so grateful that we had them in our units, okay? And just that little moment of time where we administer the Narcan, I've seen people come back to life. You know? It's easy to use. I'm glad I went through the trainings. I'm glad that we direct our clients to, we have an emergency call list, okay, on-call list. And so if there's any suspicions in our units that they will call. But having those Narcan kits on hand is really important. And I'm trying to tell you this, I'm not telling you how many times, but I know that a person that's in my arms with my, the only way that I can save them is through the Narcan kit, you know, then to see them come back to life.
And you've done it before.
I've done it several times. Yeah, you know, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
To bring them back to life, you know,
that's a good piece.
that is
For them to come out and market and advertise and teach that piece. I was sharing with some of the seniors, suggesting that they would involve themselves with the Narcan kits because sometimes they forget they took their medicine at 9 o'clock,
Right.
and take another dose at 11. And if somebody can catch them, it's a possibility that they can turn their overdose around too. So it's a lot of reasons.
It's a lot of reasons because, sometimes when you get into the clients, right, and so we try to break the code of silence. You know, sometimes, we go by, if you see something, say something. You know, because sometimes when you come from the streets, they don't want to say anything. Or,
That's snitching.
That's all kind of stuff, but now we're getting better and better and better. And if you see something, say something, and so they tip us off. They come around and they say, well, this guy might be using it. And we monitor all the time, and so to just get their own time is rewarding, and then to have everything that you need. And so I think that we're doing a great job with reversing the stigma of silence, because we don't want to watch nobody die because you feel like you in the streets, you're in the process of recovery. And so that's really important. It's really big. We save lives just by having our clients change their way of life and their way of thinking. And
That's a good thing.
It's a fantastic thing.
And Miss Valerie, you spoke a little bit about the MAT program. A lot of populations don't want to believe in the MAT. They say you still use. You hear what I'm saying? That that's a barrier sometimes. But if it's like medication. If I'm taking my medication to level myself off, then I'm not using.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's balancing. So sometimes we have a person that's struggling with opioids and things like that. That this, you call the name of it?
Well, naltrexone is used as a blocker, and it can be used for opiates and alcohol. But there's medications like Suboxone, that's a MAT that people will be on, or methadone. And it's really about harm reduction and making sure that, I've heard people say, oh, well, if you're using methadone or Suboxone, even though it's a prescription, you're still using. But it's, okay, well, they're using, but it's monitored by a doctor. They're in treatment. That's a requirement to be on those types of MAT programs. And so they're being checked and having therapy and counseling, and a doctor, like I said, is monitoring what they're on. And whereas if you're taking a straight drug instead of, you don't know how that's going to affect what medications you're already on, or you have a high risk for overdose because you go on the streets and get something, you don't know what's in things anymore. I mean, honestly. So it's definitely something safer. And then also people who have chronic pain. I mean, it is something that is really beneficial for them to be on long term, and it's less negative effects on the body than some other substances.
Wow. Well, we thank you for that input. Yeah. So we
It really improves the chances of someone's recovery. Dramatically improves. Whether it's Vivitrol or Suboxone, people who are engaged in counseling and medication-assisted treatment, they have a higher rate of recovery. So we're always looking for what's best for the client.
that's
What's new, what's best practice out there, and how can we be effective? And so that's what at Personalized Nursing Lighthouse, part of our mission is to be innovative but effective. And so we fully embrace medication-assisted treatment.
well. I thank you guys for allowing me to come in your house
Thank you.
and
Jesse.
talk
Appreciate
about recovery and the great work that you guys are doing within the community. Man, we're gonna have to come back one day and
You're welcome.
talk about the stats, statistics, and what's going on. Are you seeing any new participants that may be engaged in the intake process, like some new things that's going on? We got to talk about that. Is it any barriers that you might see with individuals just kind of coming in and sticking and staying in recovery? We'll talk about that because there's a stigma that's associated with the word recovery that people don't want to talk about it. And then you got a lot of individuals that's sober today, but because of the stigma, they don't raise their hand like this gentleman right here and say, I'm in recovery.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you say I'm in recovery, you go into a stigma pool and people judge you, do all kinds of things. So somebody got to be a change agent and begin to break the stigma by being into recovery and talking about it, so that now that you talked about it, maybe I'll talk about I'm in recovery, or maybe somebody else will say they're in recovery. But when you start talking about it, then you break the stigma, because the view of a person that's using crack or drugs or alcohol, that view is terrible. It's just a terrible view, and there's a lot of people that just don't believe that Johnny or whatever your grandson's name have a chance at even recovery, because the last 10 people that you knew that was drinking or using crack or things like that, you seen that picture got locked in your head. So people that's in recovery now have to become change agents and really start talking about it on Recovery Live Global and in different other platforms to get the word out. We need to talk about it at the church. We need to talk about it in the school. We need to talk about it in different layers and platforms in the community to get the word out. There is recovery after addiction. It is.
I know it is. Let me tell you. I know for a fact that speaking out on recovery, in whatever way you speak out on it, there are other people that wish they heard it. There's other people that wish they heard, and you can tell. And I've been approached, just by letting people know that I'm in recovery and living a good life. That a person that don't even know me good will ask me, "Well, what did you start, and what happened, and how? What treatment center did you go to, and all this old kind of stuff." So they want to ask the questions. And so we at the Lighthouse, we have this community where there's no shame in it. And they out there spreading the word, and they going to meetings, and they recovering on the job, and they recovering in their household, and they doing all the different things that we encourage, and you'd be surprised how wide that circle goes. And so just the format of the Lighthouse make people proud to share that information, and man, I'm telling you, it's taking off for real.
Amen.
Because ain't no shame in the game. They is happy about the new way of life that they living, and they so proud to share all about it.
And I thank you guys, because when you come on Recovery Live Global, you are really backing the recovery processes and entities that we try to communicate to the world and to the community and to, we don't know who watching the show, but they hear you. They hear our clinical director over here, Miss Valerie, talking about the different programs.
Right.
They hear Joe as the CEO. Come on now, the CEO stepped out of his office and world to come in into a Recovery Life Global program like this to talk about recovery on these levels and things like that. You see, been doing it over 30, what you say, 35?
34 years, yeah.
Tell you, let me tell
34
you,
years.
Let me tell you.
Come on, now, this
This is special because
it's valuable.
let me tell you how special it is. It's so special that there is no big eyes and little U's in this format. You can talk to the CEO about anything. You don't feel no kind of power. You just know that he's just another human being, and you can just pull him to the side and say, "Hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? How you this, that, and the other thing?" We got that type of community. Okay, and so that right there was special to me.
Yeah.
Because I come from a background where you had to be quiet. But now, I guess you notice, I ain't shut up yet. So maybe I just want your listeners to know that if they come, it's all equal, and you can get a conversation going about what's really going on inside you from all the levels.
Okay, we're about to wrap it up, but
Okay.
Mr. Craig,
Yes, sir.
I want you to look in that camera.
Hey.
That one right there. We off the camera now.
We off
It's
the camera?
you and the community.
Okay.
Say something to the community. What could you say?
What would I say?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Come on and get yourself some help. It's a better way of life. Trust and believe that if you give yourself an opportunity, that you will help yourself and your family members. Because this is not an I program, this is a we program, and we are helping you and your family. Helping your family to not worry about you no more. Helping your family get a education through your behavior. Trust and believe is well worth it. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Well,
Miss Valerie, come on. See that camera right there? That's everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Say something to the world. Say something to them about it.
Well, just to kind of piggyback off what Craig said, I mean, no matter what role you are at Lighthouse, we work together as a team to help people or help yourself get clean and get sober. And we have a lot of services to help and try to reduce that stigma. And, there's all walks of life. There's no one that, it's like this person, recovery doesn't look just one way, okay? So we offer a lot of different ways to help you get sober, and so come on in,
Thank you. Joe, would you like to have something to say in closing?
Sure. First of all, thank you, Jesse, for coming out to see us again. Thank you, D-Win, for sponsoring some of our clients and all of our funding sources from Southeastern Michigan. I just want to say for anyone out there, addiction, you say that there's some stigma to it, but really it's a chronic disease, just like diabetes, just like asthma. And the recovery rates are similar to asthma and diabetes. Now, if someone was diabetic, people aren't saying, "Oh, you're diabetic," and they're not having any stigma with diabetes or asthma. It's just a condition that is treated, and there's some flare-ups. Asthma happens, diabetic issues happen, and same as we look at it, same as recovery. So it's a chronic condition, and too many people out there they think, "Oh, I sent my son to treatment. He was there for 2 weeks. He should be not using." 2 weeks is not enough time. They need more time, and so. If you look at it from a chronic condition, that will make a huge difference in how you support your loved one. And even if it's you, if you've been in treatment before and you didn't do well first time because you went for 14 days or 28 days, look at it as a chronic condition. Don't stop. Keep going. And so people who've walked through our door with that philosophy, and we'll help you with that. You don't have to know anything, but just be open and willing. And we have it right above our table where we test urine drug screens, right?
Absolutely.
How honest, open, and willing. So just come, be open and willing, and we'll help you with the rest. But any treatment center you go to should look at that chronic condition. And I just want to say one more thing is, because too often people, when they relapse in treatment or if they're in, the family members get on them, even sometimes professionals in the field. we need to be supportive, nurturing, and loving, and help them get back on path towards recovery. And that's what we strive to do here as a team. And there is hope. Again, you can do it.
This has been another segment of Recovery Live Global. Stay tuned. Like, share, keep it moving, and I'll see you next week.